Hi friends, welcome to my channel, and this is Windows Server 2012 step-by-step tutorial, and this is 2012 video in this series. So in this video I'm going to show you how to enable Hyper-V replication for virtual machine on Windows Server 2012 R2. So the first thing which you should know, what is replication and what we can achieve by Hyper-V virtual machine replication. So the replication you can enable to replicate your virtual machine from one host to another host, maybe on same site or maybe on replicated site which is in any other site like other city or other country. So it's depend on the setup, how you want to set up the Hyper-V replication on the same site and on a different host to get the VMs highly available in case of anything goes down with the primary host. Or you can replicate your VMs on a replicated site. It may be in same city or another country or another state. So you can see in this diagram, the first machine is the primary site, and this is our Hyper-V host, and where we have a source virtual machines, like few virtual machines are running on this machine, and we are going to replicate the same virtual machine which is running on primary site on a Hyper-V host to a secondary site uh, with the any other Hyper-V host. So I'm going to show you how we can achieve this, but make sure this is not a solution where you can set up your machine and bring your machine highly available like a failover cluster for Hyper-V. So you need to make sure, like the machine, if you are going to do any planned maintenance on a primary site or primary host, Hyper-V host, then you need to bring those you can bring those VMs which is at primary site or a primary Hyper-V host shut down, and you can make secondary copy which is available on replicated host on replicated site and power on those site to without any effect. So let's do it. So here is my infrastructure which I am going to use in this demo. So I have two or three virtual machines, two Hyper-V hosts on one Active Directory server. The first machine is Win2K12 DC01, which is my Active Directory and DNS server. You can see my domain is victorinfosol.com, and this machine is here. You can see this machine Active Directory and DNS role on is running on this machine. If I go to local machine, you can see Win2K12 DC01 victorinfosol.com, which is my domain controller. So this is my domain controller, and my primary server primary Hyper-V host is, you can see this is Win2K12 HV01, and this is Hyper-V host. So if I go here Win2K12 HV01, you can see Hyper-V role is installed in this machine, and you can see this machine is joined in my domain. And if I go to Hyper-V manager, you can see I have two virtual machines running on this Hyper-V host, which I am going to replicate to my secondary host or secondary site. So you can see both the machines here. These two are virtual machine basically which we are going to replicate. So you can see the first virtual machine Win2K12 R2, my second machine is Win2K12 R2 and 8 R2. So these are two virtual machines which we are going to replicate to secondary site or secondary Hyper-V host. So the second machine is Win2K12 HV01, which is secondary Hyper-V server, and you can see this is also in my domain, but I have not installed Hyper-V role on this machine. So let's get started from scratch. So the second machine is only join in my domain. I have renamed this machine, configured IP address, and join my domain. So let's prepare this machine for a Hyper-V role first. So I'm going to install my add and remove feature, add features, and I'm going to select my server. I'm going to install a Hyper-V role, and once the Hyper-V role is available at this machine, we can go and enable the replication for virtual machine. So I'm going to simply restart this automatic machine because Hyper-V require a reboot for this machine. So I'm going to click on install. So this is this machine is going to reboot after the installation done. So I want to show you one thing here. If I go to Hyper-V manager and switch manager, you need to make sure the switch name is same on all the Hyper-V hosts which is going to be a partner in replication. So I'm going to create a same name switch on my second Hyper-V host once the Hyper-V host is come again. So So let's wait for machine to get up. So it's required to reboot because Hyper-V required to reboot to get the installation done. And see, it's taking now second reboot. Now I can go and log into this machine and create a Hyper-V switch. You can see the installation is succeeded. I can go and close this. Now we have a Hyper-V server. I'm going to click on Hyper-V server and switch. I'm going to create external switch, and name of the switch is vSwitch. So when the machine is going to power on, it will get the same switch on this Hyper-V host. Otherwise the if the switch name is different, it's not going to power on. It's going to give you error message like the virtual switch is not found. So in a Hyper-V settings, I'm going to specify the name here. So basically I don't need this, so I'm going to give this path here on my Hyper-V settings, so where the machine is going to replicate. So click OK, and now the machine looks good, and now we can actually go and configure the replication and see how it's required. So first thing, I'm going on my primary machine. If I go here and enable replication, I can go and enable replication, but before doing this we need to enable the replication mechanism from Hyper-V settings. So I'm going to right click on server and go to Hyper-V settings, and here you can see the replication configuration not enable as a replica server, so you need to make sure this setting is enabled. So I'm going to enable this and use the HTTP and port 80 to communicate with the replication, and I'm going to allow replication from any authenticated server, and the replication path would be this HV data virtual drive. So apply, and this is giving a message that ensure inbound TCP port for 80 is enabled in firewall. If it's not enabled, you will not be able to get the replication happen. So make sure that it is enabled for inbound, so click OK, and same you need to define on a second machine also, which is a replication partner. So I'm going to enable replication port 80 and any authenticated machine, and the path is this. So everything looks good, and now we can go and initiate the replication. So if I right click here, enable replication, and before you begin, so click next on replica server. So I'm going to type name of replica server win2k12 hv02 and enter. So you can see the settings has been received. So replica server port is 80 and it's using HTTP, so good to know, and compress the data on transmitter. So take my this by default, so click next, and now you can see the hard drive path where it's going to choose the replication VHD. So this is the VHD which is attached with this virtual machine. So click OK, and the frequency replication frequency, how much you want to frequently replicate your machine. So we have three options here: 30 seconds and 5 minutes and 15 minutes. So as you are configuring the primary replica site and secondary replica site, so you can select anything. But when like Hyper-V 2012 are to have new feature called extended replication for virtual machine, if you're going to select enable the extended replication, you will get only 5 and 15 second, not 30 seconds. So in this case I'm going to use the 30 second and click next, and this is giving the additional recovery point if you want to maintain only one latest point, and if you want to create multiple additional hourly recovery point, you can go here. So I'm going with the create hourly, and I'm going to select 8 recovery point this machine is going to give me, and click next. And this is the choose the initiate the replication. You can transmit over the network, you can copy to external uh, export to the external drive, and then copy send it to the replication site. So I'm going to use the network method. So you can see schedule the replication. You can always schedule the replication when going replication is going to start. So I'm going to start the replication immediately. Click next. And these are the wizard which we have selected. I'm going to click on finish, and you can see it's enabling the replication, and it's sending the initial replication. So if I go here, you can see receiving changes. So its machine is receiving changes. The first time it's going to sync all the hard drive from the primary site to secondary site, so it's going to receive bunch of data. You can see it's sending and receiving about 100 gig 1 gig actually, 100 mbp. So we need to wait for this to complete, and then we can see what is the replication status and everything. So you can see the replication is completed, and now if I go here and go to replication and view replication health, you can see the current primary server is HV01 and current replica server is HV02, and the replication health is normal. You can see last synchronized time and everything. So everything looks good. If I wait for 30 seconds and then see what's going to happen here. So if I go here and view the replication health, you can see 17, and so the next sync time will be 57. So we have to wait for few seconds here. So I'm going to wait till the next replication happens. So now if I go close this and view health, you can see the 47 is happen. So it's replicating the changes in 30 seconds. So this is good to know. And now I'm going to replicate my second machine. So which server you want to replicate on? HV02. Click next, select the drive, and frequency I'm going to set 5 minutes. Click next, and maintain 8 recovery points. Click next, and send data over the network and immediate, and click finish. If I go on this machine, you can see this is receiving the changes. So now if I go on this machine, right click, you can see we have a failover. If I go and click on failover, you can see it's going to save tell you the recovery point, which recovery point you want to fail over. So if I go click failover, you can see they cannot fail over, the primary virtual machine is not turned off. So means you must need to make sure if you want to do a failover test, you need to make sure the primary machine is turned off. So for example, what I'm going to do now, if I click on test failover, you will see one additional test machine is going to create, and the machine is going to power on. So just let's verify it. So I'm going to select the recovery point and then test. You can see one test machine is created, and now you can go and power on this machine and see and get this machine connected. So this is how it works. So let's go and cancel this and go here and stop test failover. So you will see the machine is going to delete it. So this is how it's work. So let's do one more thing. So I'm going to turn off this machine and then do the plan failover. So I'm going to log into this machine and shut down. So now you can see this machine is getting shut down, and now you can see the machine is shut down. And now if I go here and do a plan failover, you can see what this is going to check. The virtual machine is turned off, send the power on a replicated server, and failover to replicate server, and start the virtual machine, start and replace the virtual machine. So I'm going to do this. You can see the machine has been powered on a second host, and same I'm going to do with this machine. And what else if I'm going to do here and power on this machine, this machine is going to give you error message Hyper-V preventing start virtual machine because the replication is going on. So if I go here and failover and latest recovery point and click failover, you can see the when the machine is not turned off. So for example, if I kill this machine, like you can see, if I go and this power of this machine, then just assume your primary Hyper-V host goes fail, and it's require maintenance or something, the machine is crashed or anything. So when then if you go here and click on failover, and you can see here latest recovery point and failover, this is going to power on your machine, but it's going to give you some warning. You can see its failover is running. You can see here what it's saying: do not proceed with the task unless your primary virtual machine has failed, because of application virtual machine might not be have a latest copy. So now you can see it's found the machine is verified that the replication basically found that the primary host is not available. Then I can power on this machine because the primary host is not available. So you can see replication health is warning, choose the reserved replication, resume the. So you can do this. So now I'm going to power on this machine and reverse the replication. So if I go here and do the reverse the replication, you can see it's going to say in this method, this machine is going to be your primary replication server, and the old machine is going to be your secondary replication site. So let's do this once the machine is online. So you can see the machine is powered on. I can log into this machine without any issue, basically on this virtual machine. If I click here, the virtual machine is running fine. We don't have any issue here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch the replication now and show you how we can reverse the replication. So currently if I go here and if I see health, you can see the primary current primary server is HV01. So I'm going to reverse this and see how it's going to work after reverse. So see, I have done power failure. So I'm going to stop this machine, turn off this machine, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a reverse and reverse replication. Select the server, and I'm going to select 5 minutes, same, and all settings are same. So you can see it's sending initial replication now, and this machine is receiving changes. So Once if I go here and view replication health, you can see the current primary server is become 02 and replication server is become 01. So and health is now normal. So this is all how you can set up the replication Hyper-V virtual machine replication in Windows Server 2012 R2. And in next video I'm going to show you how to set up extended replication on Windows Server 2012 Hyper-V. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe me for more videos. And if you have any query, any question related to this, you can always post me on my given email IDs. Thank you once again. Bye bye.